into useless agent. Your safe space from stupidity and the MAGA's The Scary Clown Show. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you. Here we go.
Uncle Ray! Oh shit, motherfucker! I'm Kenny Rogers! No! We suck again! The greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even have to take care of ourselves yet. We gotta learn how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment, by comets, asteroids, and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages.
Hey, cheesy. Alrighty, and one more sound. Yay! Alright, how's it going, my beautiful chickadees, my lovely starflies? Sorry about today. Having a rough start. There are days where this job is there are days where the system just works, you know? Some days the system works great and I don't have a single problem with it and everything goes hunky-dory and we all have a good time. Unfortunately, that is not necessarily a guarantee on this show because it's modern technology. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it just likes to fuck with me. And yes, I'm trying to wear a backwards hat. Never done it before. Always thought it was kind of like a Limp Bizkit thing. And I don't know, I never could pull it off. So I don't know. If I look really stupid, you guys let me know. I just couldn't find my beanie. What the fuck happened to beanies? Nobody sells beanies anymore. You can go all around the country looking for beanies. You won't find one. It's really that hard to find a damn beanie. And yeah, even stores, like before we used to have malls and we used to have stores like Lids. There were like 30 different kinds of hat stores. Back then, everybody was into buying you know, the latest whatever hat or shoe the popular athlete at the time was hawking. And you know, this is around the time where everyone was wearing, you know, Iverson jerseys. And what happened to that guy? I mean, literally threw his career away. So what are we talking about? We're talking about other people that like to throw their careers away. Hey, that means we just made a perfect segue. That's right. You guys hear that song, you know what that means. Segue. So what are we moving to? We're moving on to, let's start off with Meatball Ron. I love Meatball Ron. No, what? No. We're going to start with Ted Cruz. Since we're starting with the Stooges, these are our new Three Stooges, and just like the Three Stooges, they can be interchangeable. You still have your Shemps and Joes. I would definitely say that James Comer would definitely be a Joe, and then you got who would be Shemp? I guess Matt Gaetz. Either Matt Gaetz or Lindsey Graham. Either way, they can share that spot. But yeah, unlike the Stooges, they are unintentionally funny. And the only time they're funny is when they're simultaneously terrifying us with the horrid shit that they say. And it's getting more and more loose. It's getting more and more accepted. And we live in a time where this type of anger and hatred is just accepted. I'm sorry, I don't like this thing. Sorry, it's just not me. I've never worn a hat backwards. Sorry, I love cold. This is a cold hat. I'm a part of the cold army, so I didn't mean to abuse the hat. I love cold. True story about that hat. Actually, I went to a cold concert, and there was a table of merch. Now, normally you go up to the merch tables before the show, check out how much a hoodie's gonna be. Nah, and I go over there, and the entire merchandise table is emptied, and I mean fucking nobody's there. The table's not empty, but there's no merchant. There's no one there to sell anything. So the first thing I saw hanging on that table was a flex fit, what is this? Yeah, large to extra large hat, and I swear to God, it fit me like a glove. So I just slapped that on and started giving away shirts. Scooter, if you ever see this, if you're out in Jacksonville, Florida, if anybody from the Cold Army sees this, I hope you guys know that I did try to sell those sweaters, but nobody wanted to buy them. And I kind of thought a couple of the girls were cute, so I gave a few away. All right, I'm sorry, but I highly doubt they care. Cold is a great band, and they are also just really cool guys. And one time I had to take a piss, and they actually let me go into their tour bus to go take a piss. And so I like to, say that we're on really friendly terms. They seem to remember me every time. So yeah, we'll talk about Cold in another episode. But right now it seems like a cold day in oh, sorry, I fucked that up. It seems like a cold day in hell today. Segue back into the stooge of the day. We're looking at Ted Cruz's dumb fucking shit ass. Now, Ted Cruz is known for a lot of cowardly things. I mean, I've never seen somebody so unashamed to be a complete and utter tool. He's like what's considered a useful idiot. I mean, we have seen this man not only run and literally leave his dogs to die, and so he is a perfect example of the modern day GOP. No military fucking no military training, no military experience, no spine, no balls, just a weak, pathetic, empty suit. And this guy is such a coward that he ran off to Cancun and blamed his children for why he couldn't stay behind and stick around with his constituents whose lives were in danger during a horrible storm. Now, rather than protecting his constituents, he left and went to Cancun and let his dogs die in an ice storm. This is a true fucking story. I mean, there is nobody fucking more cowardly than Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the definition of impotent. Like, he is just worthless. And anybody that goes around talking shit about your wife, your children, and your father, you beat that fucker's ass. You don't suck his ass and go calling people asking for donations for the guy. It was so pathetic that, honestly, your kids, I hope, are smart enough to grow up and hate you. Because if I had a father like that, I literally would never talk about him, and I would just have nothing to say. I did not have a father like that. My father went into the service. My father was drafted in Nam. My father did go through all that bullshit. And the fact that, you know, this prick thinks that he deserves a salute from a person like my father, no, motherfucker, you owe him a fucking salute. And so we used to look at these characters as figures. You know, we used to look at these figures as historic. Now they're just fucking characters. So there's nothing to really respect unless you're looking at guys like McGovern, you know, Jared Moskowitz, Jasmine Crockett. These people are actually trying to make a difference. So when this piece of shit gets a chance, any fucking time there's a camera and a microphone, he hawks his book, he hawks his fucking, you know, podcast. I mean, the guy is a part-time senator, like literally, like a job that you get when you're 16 at Jewel. You work like 2 days a week, and you only work for about 4 hours because you're in a union, so you get all the shitty hours, you know. He's like that, but that's how he treats the Senate office. He is not a person that gives a flying fuck about his state, about the people under, literally the people underneath him. And it is, it's a goddamn shame that this little piece of shit will run around blabbing on about his book. And by the way, his book is very low on the list. Just like MTG, it is a flop. Now, what's funny is that this piece of shit made this book completely late as hell called Unwoke. Oh, wow. Real fucking original. And so Ted Cruz's Unwoke was, I think, number 10 on the top 10 bestseller list on the New York Times bestseller list. Now, there was an asterisk on there that is a cross. Now, if you see a cross asterisk, that means that these are being bought in bulk. They're not being purchased by regular people, and it's really a corporate buyout of a bunch of books. So somewhere in America, possibly China, is a warehouse filled with this douchebag's book that nobody wanted to read. So not only did they give him that asterisk, which means not really supposed to be on this list, he was gone the very next day. I checked it because I wanted to make a big deal about it, and it was already gone. He was there for one fucking day. And it was there so that way he can have that stupid little circle that says New York Times, bestseller list. And if you see that on the book, I don't know if it's been reprinted, but that is a lie. You went out and got a bunch of fucking corporations to buy pallets of these books. Probably gave them away as Christmas presents, which means they turned into firewood. And it literally is just so pathetic. He's so willing to blab on about his stupid bullshit point of view on life, which is archaic and barbaric. But then when asked about the very biggest case that is going on in Texas right now, the case in which the judge, this female judge, had to go out of state to get a necessary surgery. This was barely even an abortion at this point. This is a necessary surgery this woman needs to survive, because you can't have a dead fetus inside of you. You just can't walk around with that. And so the Texas Supreme Court had actually reversed it and banned it, saying, nope, you're still not allowed. So she went through all the channels she needed to, got the fucking thing, and got the, got the surgery she desperately needed. And then when approached and asked about this is how this fucking coward responds.
Supportive of the Texas Supreme Court's ruling in the Kate Cox case that prevented her from getting an abortion after she learned her fetus was not viable.
Just call a press office.
I actually...
Call a press office. Hey, douchebag, you are a walking press office. So why do I have to call a press office when you're right here? You can't turn around and just simply say that was a terrible mistake, or my heart goes out to that woman, or, we wish Miss Cox nothing but the best. Anything. Fucking anything.
Have for 2 days now, and I still haven't received an answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk about a profile in courage. It goes.
I love the way that they claim to be so pro fucking life, and now here's a situation where we're straight up dealing with a pro life situation. Shouldn't you want life? I think the whole point of life is to be living. And the fact that she had the balls to go on TV and talk about this. Now, in other situations, I might have called her a publicity whore or desperately looking for attention. No, this woman was a person that fell into the holes of the system, and she is a judge. She should have we would think that it would have been a simple backdoor deal. This shows you the amount of corruption and abuse of authority these people are using against women. And they pretend to give a fuck about transports because it doesn't protect women, when you guys won't even sign any bills that make it harsher punishments for abuse against women. We have hate crimes, domestic disputes, but we don't have any kind of specific crimes against women. Now, if I were to, let's just say that, Johnny kills Sarah, and Johnny ends up fucking telling everybody about that and gets other people to hate women. Now, it wasn't about Sarah and Johnny. It was about man hating woman. And that is so obvious in these cases. You simply don't care about women. Because if you did, you would at least listen to one. Now, the fact that you can call yourself pro-life and then okay the death of not only a fetus, but the mother herself and future babies to come, and you're so fucking protective over the unborn, and yet you were being protective of the stillborn. When did we become protective of stillborns? Are you going to start wearing shirts that saying a stillborn is still a life? Because it's not. It really isn't. And it can kill you. I really wish we were seahorses sometimes. That way men can just shut the fuck up about this. And I am in no way an I don't know, one of those reverse males that just hate males. No, I just don't agree. And I hate this hypocrisy of letting old white men tell a woman what she can or can't do with her own health.
An interview today. You don't have to give any interviews, but you did want to speak today. Why?
I want to show this just because it's so
I wanted the opportunity to
powerful.
Tell my story. I know personally before going into this, I never imagined we'd be in this position. I never imagined I would ever want or need an abortion. And I think by sharing this story, you can imagine, the women that you love in your life, and, imagine they're pregnant and so happy.
All right. It seems like she was you know, not happy, but it seemed like she was very okay with doing this and brave enough to say, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and tell my story." Now, I actually talked to this with another female, and she said that she would have run away after this. She would have just run away, gone out of the country, said "fuck America." I think that that's the wrong approach. I think the best approach is to take this head on, do what she's doing, to shove it in the faces of people, saying, yes, this happens. And guess what? It happens to white women too. This isn't a case of, or I love how they always just happen to think it's just some slut from the Bronx or some shit. No, this is a federal judge, and she couldn't get it. So I think she was more comfortable with the idea, but as you start talking about it, that pain starts really coming in. And so you can tell that it is still hard for her to talk about it. So it's brave as fuck to go through the tears because you need people to understand how important this is.
And looking forward to the baby, and they find out that she will not survive. She'll either die in my belly, or I'll carry her to term and have to deliver her stillborn, or if she arrives into this world, you know, her life will be measured in minutes or hours or days and plagued with medical devices. She would need to be placed directly onto hospice. So imagine receiving that news and pairing that with the risks and complications of continuing the pregnancy and the childbirth. It's overwhelming. So I wanted to.
So it's overwhelming. I'm gonna end it there. That's fucking barbaric. That's barbaric. It's disgusting. And again, what do you have to say about that, Mr. I talk all the fucking time on the cameras?
Supportive of the Texas Supreme Court's ruling in the Kate Cox case that prevented her from getting an abortion after she learned her fetus was not viable.
Just call her press office.
I actually have.
What does that prove? That proves that they don't even agree with their own bullshit. You know, if you ever needed proof that the right themselves do not agree with their own shit, they know how unpopular it is. They know how dangerous it is. But will that stop them? Fuck no. They got to make that money. That's all they fucking care about is what about the next week? What about the next year's donations? And then you listen to any motherfucker on in office, like a mayor or whatever. And I've seen this on Penn and Teller's bullshit. And it's awesome how every single time they asked anyone in office, and it was funny that it just happened to be every Republican had the same answer. What is your main goal for your term? What was his answer? Well, to have another one. No, wrong answer. Opposite of that is the wrong answer. You know, the point of being a mayor is to care about your city. That was the correct answer. My people, these people, our people, the species that I am a part of that I have to govern. You know, no, it's all about the next election. So what we need to start doing is having one fucking term limits unless you do a good job. And then, you know, if your approval rating goes below 30%, yeah, fuck off. We get to put in a new one. You know, we have cities where you have the same mayor for so long, causing so much havoc. Look at Arizona, Maricopa County. You had that one psychotic sheriff going around scaring children, having having actual police officers doing a drill, but one of them actually pulling out a gun in a ready position. This is a drill, and you're pointing your gun at a child. And that's what that piece of shit would do to people. Lombardo, whatever the fuck his name was. And he was also the one that gave us that genius show of Steven Seagal running around pretending to be a cop, which he likes to say, I've been a part of law enforcement for a while. And actually the truth was, no, motherfucker, you got one of those deputy for a day stickers and you took it seriously. Kind of like the Dwight Schrute thing about the voluntary fire department in Scranton. If you watch The Office, I don't know. It's a lot like that. I mean, dude, we just gave him a badge and he keeps calling ever since. So he ended up ruining the show for himself because he's an idiot. He killed a dog because he crashed a fucking tank, a SWAT team-like tank, into a fucking fence, and the fence fell over and killed his fucking dog. And so the show was canceled. This is what we're getting out of life, people. All right, let's move on. Who else we got? Let's go on to let's do the DeSantis shit. Fuck it. So apparently a hot mic was found, or a hot mic was on during one of the during the debate. And so some audio got leaked out that was not supposed to get leaked out, and it did, and it was goddamn hilarious. And it's pretty truthful. It's basically someone watching DeSantis, because he's a goddamn creep, and saying something like, dude is looking like someone just killed his dog. Now, as a drug user, as a former drug addict, as an addict and former drug user, I can tell the difference between sobriety and stimulants. Now, there are certain mannerisms that come with that. Now, it's one thing to be a pothead. That's a total, being a pothead and being a drug addict are two very different things. They're two very different fucking worlds. So if you're involved into the drug shit, if you are in high office, your best bet is, of course, cocaine. But other than cocaine, you're going to have to do a drug that is the least, the least likely to be in trouble for. So Adderall is a great replacement. Speaking of the great replacement theory. Oh, segue! Actually, that was a pun. Screw it. Anyway, so what we have here is clearly a hot mic situation while the producer is watching Meatball Ron portraying and having these behaviors of drug use. This is drug-seeking behavior, drug user behavior. Grinding your teeth, licking your lips. Now, when it comes down to being in high office, I mentioned Adderall or Xanax because these are the common drugs you can get, and you won't have to worry about fucking up. You don't have to worry about, seeing shit. And so that these guys are going to pick the safer drugs. So right now, Adderall would be my best guess. Now, you can turn Adderall into powder just by crushing it and snorting it. But you can turn it into crystal meth. You can not crystal meth exactly, but you can crystallize it and turn it into a little thing to smoke. That's why I said when I was a drug user, I was a fucking drug user, right? So I know everything that they do, and I've been there. So let's just watch, and I mean, I'll throw in whatever commentary I can if I can. There's a difference between assumption and knowledge.
We have a little clip of some of the the opening questions to them. Let's watch. We begin with the question of electability. Governor DeSantis, your campaign and its super PAC have spent the most money, had the most high net worth donors, and had a wave of momentum coming into this race after your big re-election win in Florida.
Look at that face.
You were seen by many as the candidate most likely to consolidate the non-Trump field.
Look, DeSantis really was twitching a lot, and like.
Okay, now Anna and Cenk are going to talk about how they don't want to assume, and that's why I said there's a difference between assumption and knowledge. All right, when you are a druggie, you can easily witness the behaviors and you can lock them down. All right, it's not a matter of assumption; it's a matter of familiarity. And so the psychotic way that he carries himself, from even shots like this, where you have, all right, we have 4 people. We know one of them is a prosecutor or a former prosecutor. That person's going to be the most used to the fucking podium because they're used to talking on podiums. Now, personally, I got used to talking on podiums from being in debate, but you tend to start using them as a rest. You put your arms over in the genie position. You kind of just, lean on it. And that's how I would use it because it would help me relax and think. Now, the Ramaswamy, obviously not used to podiums, but he carries the sides. This is a natural reaction to having something in front of you. When something is in front of you, you naturally touch it. So, yeah, like you hold the side of your chair, you hold the side of the fucking podium. But look at DeSantis. A full foot behind the podium, and his hands are always, palm back. This is not an ordinary stance. Now, people can say what they want about making fun of him or if he's an easy target or what have you. The dude is not right, okay? That boy ain't right. So let's continue. And now we heard that voice saying, looks like he shot his dog while he's grinding his teeth like a fucking cokehead. And so I could tell that this is the same voice.
Smile, the seasick smile.
Definitely.
That Ron DeSantis
Seasick.
That he favors, where he looks, it looks like somebody just stepped on his toes. And so he's been trying to be likable and affable, and he's trying to.
Now, you see right there, he even uses the analogies and similes, using like and as. So that's speech patterns. So not only do we not have to assume shit, we know it. So Anna and Cenk will say, oh, we don't want to assume. So fuck it. I'll go ahead and tell you. The dude's on fucking Adderall, and the guy on the right was the guy talking during the hot mic. Okay? It's not assumption. Just fucking know it. All right? There's proving, and then there's knowing. All right? So let's see. Let me look a little further, make sure there's nothing else we need to cover in here. I mean, just look at that face. It's just not right. There's something very wrong with this man here. And they get into that.
Two for here.
Now, Anna's going to say that she doesn't like... I mean, she says a couple of things that kind of annoyed me. One was that, and I love Anna Kasparian. It's just, I think she's just too kind sometimes. I think the left is often too fucking lenient. And I love that Cenk feels that way. And you got David or John, David Parkman. A lot of these guys are just sick of it. Now, what she said was, it's nice to see men being told to be likable and smile more for a change. I think that was a shot directly at the whole Brie Larson situation for Marvel, where people don't like Miss Marvel, whatever her fucking name is, Brie Larson, because she is an unlikable fucking person. So tomorrow we're going to do a whole thing on unlikable bitches like her, Rachel Zegler, and we'll cover all that shit. Because there's a difference in being rude and saying, you need to smile more. And then there's being a public persona and needing to smile more. Do you know why they force black people to smile more? So they're not so threatening. You know who fucking said that? Richard Pryor and Eddie fucking Murphy. So I know it's fucking true. And yeah, they always want you smiling because it's the least offensive and it keeps people, it doesn't have people on guard and shit. But look at this guy's fucking face and tell me that's normal. That is a dude on stimulants. All right. You don't need a fucking, you really don't need a chemist to come in and show me any of that shit. The dude just looks like Alfred E. Newman mixed with, I don't know. She tries to say that he looks like Homelander from The Boys. I don't even watch that, and that ain't true. So, all right. Now, finally, we're going to move on to the final moron of the MAGA moron of the day. And so congratulations, you dumb piece of shit. You get to be the top stooge. In this case, I guess the curly. So congratulations, I guess. This one will go to MAGA Mike. I really think Mike would be more of a Shemp than anybody, but fuck it. Let's do it. Shemp was originally before Curly anyway. So let's go ahead and do this. I don't know if you guys know the whole story behind the Three Stooges, but I'd love to cover that if you guys are interested in it. Because, there's a lot of crazy stories about poor Larry. I mean, Larry from the Three Stooges literally had calluses on his cheeks because of how many slaps he had to take a day from Mo. Back in those days, they didn't have fucking stunt doubles and stunt acting, and they didn't use sound effects. You got a boom mic and you slap the shit out of that motherfucker. All right, excuse me. So this one is entirely going to be shooting at the elf on the shelf come to life, Mike Johnson. Now, I cannot tell you enough how much this dude looks like an elf on the shelf. But this segment helps me learn something I did not know about Mike Johnson. I didn't care to know about Mike Johnson. Didn't even know I wanted to know this about Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson has no bank account. Is that strange to anyone else besides me, knowing that this is a six-figure job? And you know damn well he's not getting a fucking paper paycheck and going to PLS and asking for it to be cashed at a 20% value or some dumb shit like that. We know this motherfucker ain't hanging out in no currency exchange trying to wait to get his check. This is the leader of their retarded freedom caucuses. This is the fucking Speaker of the House. This third in line to presidency, after the second in line after the vice president. And he doesn't have a bank account? And then he tries to say because he's a man of modest means. Dude, you're wearing a $3,000 suit. There ain't nothing modest about your dumb elf on the shelf looking ass.
4 years ago, Democrats were preparing to impeach Donald Trump for withholding aid to Ukraine in an attempt to get political dirt on Joe Biden. But there was one Republican congressman in particular who had a very specific reason for opposing Trump's impeachment, a reason that he repeated over and over and over.
Said that it would be bitterly divisive, perhaps irreparably divisive for the country. The founders of this country warned us against a single-party impeachment because they feared it would bitterly and perhaps irreparably divide our nation.
Mike Johnson is in way over his head right now.
Oh, that's gonna hurt! Michael, Mike, Mickey, don't you know the internet is forever? That your word...
I like the idea of calling him Mickey. Seriously, little Mikey, do you not realize that we live in an information age, which means everything you say can and will be held against you in the future in a court of public opinion? That is how this stupid world works. And, you know, history is written by all fucking sides now. So the blatant hypocrisy that we've already seen from people like Mike Johnson, Comer, Lindsey Graham. I mean, how many times has Lindsey flipped? I mean, literally, the guy that literally has the most cherubic face. I mean, he's got like the cherubic face of evil. I guess that's what I would call him, the cherubic face of evil. Because a part of him, I mean, he does look like a little baby-faced weirdo that probably still talks to his dead mom that's upstairs. I love the idea of him just yelling upstairs to a corpse, you know, Norman Bates style. You wash your own damn feet, Meemaw. That shit is hysterical to me. I don't know. That shit, I dream about that shit and wake up laughing. All right, so let's continue. More shit about Mike Johnson that is just strange. And again, you can't tell me that's not strange to not have a bank account. So you're telling me you have a porn... what is it? You have a porn accountability account, but you don't have a bank account. That is really strange. And let's remember, this guy also has a black adopted son. So he never likes to talk about race. But look at that motherfucker and tell me he doesn't look like an elf on the shelf. I mean, dead on elf on the shelf. Let me find one. Yeah, let's just grab an elf on the shelf and just, I mean, there's no way you can tell me that's not the same dude. That's totally the same dude. Hang on, where is that little bastard? There he is right there, laughing. And that stupid face. Ugh, fucking weirdo. All right, so, yeah, look at this shit. You look at him, and then, let me go ahead and get this out. You look at him, and then you look at this guy, and tell me that motherfucker ain't the same dude. That's Mike Johnson right there with a red hat, and he's always sitting on your damn shelf watching you and shit. He's just a creep, man. Dude is a straight up fucking creep show. And so let's go on and let her finish because, yeah, this is going to be him trying to tell us that, first off, not only is the Bible his only point of view, maybe that means he wants to sell his daughter into slavery to own some land. I don't know. But I do believe if you're going to say that the Bible is your outlook and the fact that you have a black adopted son, well, I don't think your racist Bible would even appreciate that. I mean, isn't there a section on there about race? You know what? Never mind. Let's not even get into that shit. All right, go ahead, Elf on the Shelf.
It's because there's been so much made about it. Vanity Fair says this. What's up with Mike Johnson's very shady-seeming financial disclosures? They say you've never reported a bank account or an asset on a financial disclosure form going back to 2016. Can you clear that up for us?
Yes, look, I'm a man of modest...
Okay. He was asked, can you clear this up for us? That means give us one reason why you don't have a bank account. Now, you could have said, I have everything wired to my wife's name, so that's not entirely true. Or, you know, yes, I have any fucking excuse in the world. But no, he's going to give you some fucking word salad. It's just Republican 101. Modest means.
Can you clear that up for us?
Yes, look, I'm a man of modest means, okay? I was a lawyer, but I did constitutional law, and most of my career I spent in the nonprofit sector. We have...
so that means you worked for free pro bono on every single case?
4 kids, 5 now, that are very active, and I have kids in graduate school, law school, undergraduate.
Wow, that seems to cost a lot of money. You think you would need to store that somewhere, like a bank account?
We have a lot of expenses, but I can relate to everybody else.
As this week
I can relate to everybody else. I have a bank account that has $1.63 on it right now. That's how fucking rich I am. All right. You do not get to say you can relate to me. You can't. I mean, that is so fucking telling. And then the little smirk that they give just before they tell you to go fuck yourself. Now, this reminds me of recently on BBC, just before before they went on air, and they had the graphics, like the intro graphics were coming on. She's like that the whole time. And then as soon as she goes, you're like, yeah. And then as soon as she thinks, they do the 5, 4, 3, 2, go. And then she literally, you just fucking see, it's fucking hysterical. But that is the media. They are constantly giving you the finger when the fucking lights aren't on. Now, we've seen George Bush do that to us, if you remember your early 2000s. So how in the flying fuck can you say that you can relate to the average man knowing that you make 6 figures and you have no bank account info? All right. And then we saw Gomer already over here fucking up, saying this is obviously a transparent political, and then he changes his words. But look at the face of Marjorie Taylor Greene during that. And she just looks up. What are you saying, dumbass?
Political or
some extra long.
Look how those eyes just go right at him once he said it. It's just hysterical.
As this week draws to a close, in which we will
look at those eyes. Look at those eyes right here. She is like, "What did you say, you stupid motherfucker?"
Some extra long pauses.
Basically doing through Hunter Biden was allowing Hunter Biden to get these deals where there's no discernible actual product being produced. So it's really just peddling of the influence.
Okay, Gary, given that answer, just a yes or no here. Can Republicans prove all that?
That's the one. That was the face. I managed to pause it at the absolute perfect fucking time. That is the face of the real Republican Party. The party that knows they got nothing to say. They have nothing to do. They don't want to help anything because helping costs money. And they live like they rule like, man, I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even come up with a fucking analogy for it. I had one, but I lost it. I mean, the amount of false confidence behind their words and their word salads that they throw out is really just this face, in a nutshell. They know they have nothing to offer you. They have no ideas. They have no concept of ideas. They don't want to change anything because that costs a lot of money to change things for the better. And we are going to see another mass transit accident. It's either going to happen in my town of Chicago. It's either going to happen to us because we have trains everywhere. And we know that the right has tried adamantly, and fuck, the left hasn't done any better with infrastructure bills. Biden is finally getting some shit done, finally Biden got some shit done and fixed a couple of bridges that really needed to be fucking fixed. There was no way that we will get any infrastructure done under a Trump presidency, let alone any Republican presidency. We're not going to see one. They don't want to fix the infrastructure. They don't want to fix the railroads. They don't want to fix anything because it costs money. So it's a lot like here was the example. Imagine being a general manager of a store like Panera Bread. All right, you're managing your restaurant, your cafe, and how it works for the GMs is they get a bonus check. I know a lot about Panera. I worked there for 5 years. They get a bonus check every year for Christmas. Now, that bonus check comes out on how much money they have saved their store. So my boss, since he was not only a kind of a Nepo baby, his mother was in corporate, so of course he was going to end up a GM, but he didn't want the job of GM, so he worked his way up to GM. So he was one of us. He was a regular worker. And so when he'd get on the line, he'd get on that fucking line, and he was good. He'd help. So we all called him Big Papa Smurf because he was our guy. Or I'm sorry, Big Papa Soul, because his last name was S-E-O-L. So we always just call him Big Papa Soul. And so now he would tell us, don't be afraid of throwing out fucking bad food. I would rather have happy, healthy customers and get a lower bonus check than get a big bonus check and see that my customers don't like being here. That, in essence, is how you run the country. You don't think about what you are getting out of it. You are thinking about what you can get for the country. What changes can you bring us? Because the last thing we need is more Stooges. That's all the time I have for today. I love you guys. I know this was a long one, but it's Sunday, so I figured why not. So thanks for sticking around. Love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow to probably talk about the Rachel Zegler situation. Then I believe Tuesday we'll be having the double feature day because Skinny Pete will be coming back for another segment that we'll be doing around 6 p.m. So that'll be coming up. All right. So thank you guys. Love you guys. Share, like, subscribe. Please just share the shit out of this because we're climbing and we're doing the best we can. All right. Love you guys. Stay safe. Stay yourself. Stay free. I'll see you on the other side. Most of all, stay
Welcome to Useless Agent, your safe space from stupidity and the MAGA's Scary Clown Show. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you. Here we go.
I'm Uncle Ray! Oh shit, motherfucker! I'm Kenny Rogers! No! We suck again! Greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even have to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles. Hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment, comets, asteroids, and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages.
Hey, Jay-Z.